First of all, I have 3 points to mention. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer of this forum, Sofia Security Forum, for inviting me. It's I'm very honored to be here with you. Secondly, I have to mention as well that I'm here as in my capacity as a researcher. I don't represent the Al Jazeera Center for Studies where I'm working. Thirdly, as you know, this party of the world is very important for the Arab world as well. Al-Balkan, the party of Balkan. That's why we have Al Jazeera Balkan, our new channel. Now it's not new. Maybe now it's launched just 2 years ago. Next week it will be a huge international conference in Qatar, in Doha, entitled the relations between Arab and Balkan. So it's very important to exchange with you the ideas as well. I would like also to thank the translators for this work. And after we listened to we heard this overview of the region, came from the presentation my colleagues presented. Now it's time maybe to highlight the future of the Arab world. So my presentation will be about the scenarios of the Arab world. It will be focused in two axes, main axes. The first one, it will be about the pessimistic scenarios, and the second one, it will be about the potential futures. So, first of all, as introduction, Arab states in 2024, that's mean 10 years after now, face three main challenges in terms of youth unemployment. Second thing is demands for more political participation. That's mean the time or the period of one party govern, it's terminated. And the last one is the continuous of terrorist attacks or threat. Also content, it keeps the region as a conflict trap where reform is eternally postponed for security reasons, therefore continuously feeding into the pool of violence. Protracted conflicts and extended violence in Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, Libya obstruct not only regional integration, but economic development for the region at large. In many ways, the region has lost a decade as no progress has been made. Well, now I will move to the first axis of this presentation. It will be about the unlikely but not impossible scenarios, which we can call it the wild cards. In futurology, the science of future, wild cards are events with a high impact but a low probability. As a result, they come with a biggest strategic surprise. The strong national and regional reaction to Mohamed Bouazizi in Tunisia, self-immolation, is one example. The impact of such incident can change whole systems and trends to an entirely new extent. While some can be detected by their weak signals, indications such as a high food price, that unrest might be expected. Others can simply not be anticipated. Wild cards have a purpose because they stimulate strategic thinking and the reaction of bureaucratic systems to surprise. Imagining potentially disruptive and unexpected events can contribute to flexibility and agility when such surprise eventually happen, because even though they are never expected, wildcards manifest themselves with great regularity. Well, actually, I had the opportunity to be part of a small group which called Arab Foresight Group. It's created by the Union European, specifically by the EUISS. It's Union European Institute for Security Studies, which is based in Paris. And I had the opportunity to be in this group, small group, about 12 researchers from Union European and from the Arab world. And we met about 4 times in Brussels and in Paris. And I would like to share with you today some of scenarios we put it. The first one, so I will mention here 10 scenarios. The first one is chemical weapons in the hands of the non-state actor. The prospect of groups in possession of chemical weapons would not only change the strategic landscape in asymmetric conflicts such as Syria, it's also like to pull outside powers into the region to avoid a proliferation of example. The second scenario, it's war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. So actually, I'm talking in the future. That's mean in the 10 years coming. So the second one, it will be possible war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Both states have been engaging in aggressive rhetoric. But Riyadh, in particular, has beefed up its air force and navy over the last decade, feeling threatened by Iran as its Saudi Arabia could use the prospect of an Iranian closure of Strait of Hormuz as a pretext to strike Iranian targets. This would engage not only the whole region, but outsiders as well. The third scenario is the energy technology revolution. The development of cheap and secure energy provisions and storage would change the balance the balance of wealth in the region considerably. It would force oil producing states to review their economic and social posture while work in the favor of those reacting promptly to innovation. As you know, there's something now we called it the shale gas revolution in the United States, and this maybe can make sense actually. The fourth scenario, it's related to the Balkan area and Middle East area as well. Actually, it's a Russian proxy war. The antagonism with Russia could very well continue to be played out in the region. Moscow could engage even more forcefully in Egypt and expand to Algeria and even to the GCC countries. This would most certainly to a Western reaction. The second scenario is death of Bashar al-Assad, the president of the regime of Syria. In his late 40s, when the Syrian crisis began, Assad's death of natural causes is unlikely. He's very young, actually. Maybe he's 49 years old. So His passing in the conflict might open the way for negotiations depending on who the regime would replace him with. The sixth scenario is a very strong one. It's Islamic State attack the West. A mass terrorist attack by the Islamic State on Western ground, resulting several thousand victims, could entail a forceful and perhaps even large-scale military reaction. The seventh scenario, disintegration of the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC. If Qatar, Kuwait, and Oman leave the GCC, leaving it as a forefront of Saudi Arabia politics in the region, this would set back Arab integration efforts in the region significantly. Eighth scenario is a new Nasser emerges. A leader with a strong regional impact emerges, comparable to Jamal Abdul Nasser. A powerful force driving a regional agenda. Such a figure could have both a positive or negative impact on regional relations. Under current issues, such an individual would be likely to emerge in Egypt, Iraq, or perhaps in Tunisia. The ninth scenario is Islamic State becomes a real state. The consolidation of territory in northern Iraq and eastern Syria, export of oil and provision of services lend Islamic State already the aura on statehood, should it maintain its control and be even recognized by other states. The last scenario here is the demise of two-state solution. A former Israeli decline of the partition of mended Palestine would kill hopes of independent Palestinian state and lead to either the establishment of an apartheid regime or Jewish state with a majority of Arab inhabitants. Either way, this would gear the whole region towards more conflicts. Well, the second axis of this presentation will be very short. It will be about the potential future in the Arab world in 2024. Well, here I can mention three scenarios or three options. The first one is the Arab Spring 2. In this most plausible scenario, economic and political issues are managed rather than resolved, leading to protected unrest and instability. The second option is the Arab implosion. In the most plausible worst-case scenario, Arab states fail to address the main economic issues as they focus on security only. As a result, discontent becomes even more pronounced, leading to large-scale distribution. And the last option could be the Arab leap, recognizing the urgent necessity for reform. Arab states implement large-scale reforms which lead ultimately to an economic recovery. The groundwork for an improved future is laid. As conclusion, As the Arab world and its neighbors are undergoing a difficult transition, the role of the outsiders is changing too. Middle Eastern and North African countries have become broader at a time when assistance is more required than ever. The American pivot to Asia seems to leave a strategic vacuum potentially filled by states such as China and India, and maybe as Brazil. But most importantly, Arab states really rely increasingly on themselves to address these issues they are facing. All Arab states face a list of common challenges ranging from youth unemployment to terrorism. This might provide the necessary impetus for Arab cooperation, but in particular, it shows that bilateral approaches are no longer enough. None of the mentioned issues can be taken by national government alone. Outsiders need to take this into account when providing the usual or the useful help they can offer. To conclude, I can say really that unfortunately the image is still very dark. Thank you.